Welcome to And It's Live, the podcast which dives deep into football's most iconic seasons, stories, and what ifs. If you love football, history, tactics, and nostalgia, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and drop us a like on YouTube so you don't miss an episode.
Bergkamp, a real run of pace, and he's set up the chance, and it's Freddie Ljungberg once more.
The Gunners top.
Arsenal are back at Highbury. The Wembley thing for 2 years hasn't worked. It may have worked financially, but it did not work for the team. They're back at Highbury in Lazio are clearly the tricky team. Shakhtar Donetsk and Sparta Prague are the others. They go and win in Prague, I think, in that first match day. They're in big bother, though, this first game at Highbury, at home to Donetsk. You would think this is an absolute routine win. They're 2-0 down just before half-time. They get a penalty that Henry misses and Viltord rushes in. And then it's Martin Keown with 2 goals in the last 5 minutes in injury time that give Arsenal a 3-2 lead. And they're kind of on their way. They beat Lazio at home as well. Top the group, just. But this is, I guess, a wee bit more like it. Not a great season in the league, Adam, but something's building here. The Dreamcast strip, and they'll be league champions the following year. But Freddie Ljungberg's there. Is this just, again, the final year of building for Arsenal and just things kind of just starting to come together?
Yeah, I think so. There's a wee bit of a changeover in this year. You've got some of the Invincibles coming in, Loren, Robert Pires, guys like that coming in. You see a few leaving that maybe hadn't been. A couple of the old guard, Winterburn goes. 𝐷𝐸𝐿 had been there for a bit and didn't do very well. Overmars went to Barcelona. Petit went to Barcelona as well, obviously this summer before. So yeah, there is. It was good. I must admit, looking at the highlights, it was good to see them back at Highbury, like you said, that big screen when you never had that. Seeing, like, obviously the screens are 10 a penny now, but when you never really had that so often, it was always quite good. Even though it only showed the lineup, it didn't show highlights or anything like that. It was always one of those striking features of Highbury. So you're right. Yeah, after a year away, it's very good to have them back. I'm always just disappointed with Arsenal in these, to be honest. It's always a little bit. You're right. They do get through. They're probably not really in any danger, but yeah, it's one of those sort of classic cases of all of the good moments I remember about Arsenal from this time are all pretty much in the league, as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing really striking. I don't think, obviously, when they get to the final in a few years' time, it's more of a surprise or a huge surprise than anything else. So yeah, very much on top, no issues, I think, here, despite some of the results and some of the goals that you mentioned. But yeah, lots still to do, I think, on the European stage for them.
Martin, you mentioned there that Petit had gone, and the balance in this Arsenal team isn't right. They're conceding goals at a rate that they didn't previously this season. If you look, there's a 4-2, there's a 3-2. When they need to concentrate, when they were fantastic at home against Lazio. And by the way, credit to the Arsenal, but I can't see any football club these days saying, right, well, it'd be better for us on a football sense, even though we're going to lose 50,000 tickets 3 times. That would never happen in 2024. So fair play to them. But, you know, they beat Lazio at home in a thrilling match. They're excellent, this star-packed Lazio team. They then go over there because it's the middle 2 games. Takes a Pires goal in the last minute, a point.
And it's a beauty as well.
Oh, what a player he was. But the balance just isn't quite right. And the other, just as a wee interesting curio, a player by the name of Tomasz Rosicky, who would be well known to Arsenal, starring for Sparta Prague in this tournament. I love things like that the first time we played there. But yeah, they just didn't. And we saw this domestically as well, that they were conceding at a rate that they just hadn't before, and teams were getting results. And it's still the kind of famous back four. I mean, they're still, you mentioned that they're Dixon, Adams, Keown, Winterburn. They're all still there. Although you have guys like 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐿 coming in and playing quite a bit. He gets a goal in one of the early games to win it, in fact. But yeah, just not this perfect machine, just not quite. But going forward, they still had phenomenal talent. I mean, it's actually scary when you think of the class of player Arsenal had. You know, Viltord, Henry, Pires, Ljungberg, who at the time was sensational. So many quality players. 𝐵𝐾𝐭 is there as well.
Yeah, so many
Mouth-watering.
cameos
Yeah.
from 𝐵𝐾𝐭, isn't there?
Yeah.
He pops up all the time. But you know what I mean, Adam? It's kind of there, like, but it's not complete. I mean, the FA Cup final, I think, from memory against Liverpool and Cardiff, where they're 1-up, they're in total control of the game. Liverpool have been a bit of a disappointment, and Owen scores 2 goals in the last few minutes to kind of snatch the cup. There's something kind of missing, but you see the link between Bergkamp and Ljungberg and Henry and Pires, but they signed Campbell the following summer. Huge for many reasons. Gio goes there as well. There's a few others that just kind of make sense, and all of a sudden things just click into place. But I guess from an attacking sense, I saw things in this Champions League that would be forerunner of things to come from them, because they're going to go into a great period over the next few years.
Yeah, and I think there's no getting away from it. The impact of Henry is huge for them. Particularly, like I said, when we got used to Overmars, Ian Wright and 𝐿𝐾𝐭 a few years before that, having someone come in who can deal with that so seamlessly, I think really, really helps. And like you mentioned, a little bit of quality in the back line when it's not necessarily starting to creak, but let's be honest, they're very far past the wrong side of 30. All of them pretty much, having been able to bring in people like Sol Campbell, 𝐵𝐾𝐭 coming in I guess a year or so later on, really, really helps. I think, like you said, they've then got the foundation there, they've got the framework, and they can go. But as David said, this year wasn't without its challenge.
If you enjoyed the show and want to help us grow, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. On YouTube, search for And It's Live Podcast. We've got new deep dives, drafts and breakdowns dropping every other day.